Hello everyone, welcome back to Assetto Corsa Competizione, and after my brutal experiences in the open lobbies last week, a lot of you recommended Low Fuel Motorsport to me, so I've decided to give it a try. We're just about to start my first ever GT3 race in LFM. We're on the rookie servers and it's a 20-minute race around the Nürburgring. The lights are going green. There are 24 cars on the track. We've qualified 21st out of 24, so we're well off the pace here. Our qualifying time was a 1:58.8. That's more than 4 seconds off pole position. So I'm certainly not expecting any miracles here. We're just going to be safe and take it steady, particularly through this turn 1. It always gives me nightmares at the Nürburgring. We've got through it okay, very cautiously through the inside. There's 2 cars out, 1 black McLaren rejoining. Oh, that gave me a heart palpitation. I thought he was going to rejoin and career right into me. We're still stuck on the outside. We've now got a BMW on the inside of us. So we're going to have to stay out wide around this slow section. Really cautious through here. I'm worried about contact. And I'm also worried about these big curbs at the Nürburgring. The Ferrari doesn't handle curbs at all well, and that's compromised our exit speed. We've lost a couple of positions, including that black McLaren of Lamper. We passed him on the exit of turn 1, but he's obviously got his act together, rejoined, he's back in front of us, and I think we're almost at the back of the pack now. Muro in that BMW, a little bit wide on exit there. That might give us the chance to get on the gas a bit earlier and pull alongside, but no, we just haven't got the power. And I'm looking to the leaderboard now. It's starting to settle down to see what position we are, and we're 23rd out of 24th. So yeah, we've really struggled on this first half a lap, and I'm actually a little bit worried we might not even have the pace to stick with any of these guys. Oh, particularly now we're running in a little bit too deep into this fast chicane. That's going to seriously cost us because there's a fast section through there, and look, we've lost a few tenths already. There was a little puff of dirt there. Has someone gone off? Yeah, there is a Ferrari by the looks of it. That was Rocher, and that's promoted us up to 22nd position, and if I'm being brutally honest, I think the only positions we're going to get in this race is when drivers in front of us crash with that far off the pace. I said in my ACC video last week how much I was struggling with the physics and the feel of the cars in this sim, and nothing's changed over the past 7 days. I was well off the pace in practice. Qualifying wasn't much better. I actually felt like I was going really fast. I really thought I was pushing it to the limits, but then you see all the other lap times and it really humbles you. These guys are quick in this sim, really quick. Right, we're going to end lap 1 in 22nd place, so let's go back and check out a replay, see what happened on the start. Now keep your eye on this black McLaren, the number 3 of Lamper. He was the one who got into trouble on the exit of T1. He's just going to come into contact with that red Ferrari. Oh, and that's going to spin him off into the Audi as well of Palmer. So that's Palmer and Lamper both off. Lamper rejoining there. It wasn't as close as it felt at the time. And in fact, within a couple of corners, Lamper was back past us. That put us down to 23rd position, but we did get 1 place back when Rocher lost control of his Ferrari. He clipped that curb on the inside and spun out, and then at the end of the lap, at the final turn, there was this incident that happened a few places in front of us. Lamper again involved. He goes for that gap on the inside, and there's contact with the BMW M4 of Martins. Martins out on the gravel. Lamper manages to save it just. They both rejoin, still in front of us. Oh, the car twitching and weaving under this heavy braking zone on the approach to T1. It was so hard to keep the car straight there, but we're on the back of Moro's BMW now. Moro's going to run out a little bit wide by the looks of it. He's out onto the curb, and he's going to lose control, so he's off into the wall. That's another position gained, up to 21st. Well, I said that the Ferrari was struggling with the curbs, but it seems the BMW doesn't care much for them either. He chewed up a little bit of AstroTurf as well there, and that's a big hit. Well, I worried that I wasn't going to be able to keep up with these guys, and it seems like that field was well placed. We're only halfway through lap 2, and I'm already struggling to stay with these guys. It looks like Martins in that brightly coloured BMW ran a little bit wide, and there was a puff of dust on the other side of the track too. So a couple of drivers off track there, but it seems like they've all rejoined, which means we're still in 21st position, but it does give me a glimmer of hope if they're making mistakes up there. We're not as fast as them, but we may be able to capitalise on their errors. And as I say that, Martins is sideways. There's another car off to the left, another one off to the right. They're going off in all directions. It was like the parting of the Red Sea there. We've gained 3 positions in 1 corner. We're up to 18th. Well, it started getting a little bit tasty even before that crash. This is a couple of corners earlier, and keep your eye on the 23 Lexus. Kakko is going to try for a move up the inside of that blue McLaren driven by Sen, and there's no room. He goes right into the McLaren, and they both spin out. But then a couple of corners later, that's Martins, the number 21. Oh, he gets punted from behind by the looks of it. That was Zortek in the other BMW running it in way too hot. Let's look at it again from the chopper cam. Zortek in the dark blue car runs right into the back. Oh, and Palmer in the Audi gets knocked out as well. So that's the 3 drivers that we lost, and that put us up to 18th. Well, at this point, it feels like we've been racing for ages, but we're actually only starting lap 3. The race is less than 5 minutes old, but we're already in a pretty lonely 18th position. Kakara's the driver in head, but he's more than 2 seconds down the road, and we've got a comfortable 2-second gap to the driver behind. But the yellow flags come out, and there's a car in the gravel. It looked like Almeida, but he's gone, so he's obviously quit the game, so that's going to promote us to 17th. And yeah, it was Almeida in the liquid moly BMW. He just gets on the gas too early. The car dramatically changes direction and launches him into the barrier. Well, I just said that I was in a pretty lonely position. It didn't stay that way for long. We're now halfway through lap 3, and that gap behind to Yamak is coming down considerably. It's now 0.7 of a second. So Yamak in that BMW has clearly got some excellent pace here. He's taken 1.5 seconds out of us this lap alone, so he's going to be right on our tail before long at all. In fact, he's already there, look, as he closes right in through this tricky left-right section. So I'm really not too sure how long we're going to be able to hold on to this 17th position, how long we're going to be able to hold Yamak off. He's clearly much faster than us. Obviously, we're going to try our best to defend this position, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to put myself in any undue danger. I'm not going to take any unnecessary risks to try and hold on to a 17th position. He's right on our tail now. Is he going to look up the inside into the final turn? No, because we're going to keep it really tight through this section. So no way through there, but is he close enough to pick up a draft down the start and finish straight? It looks like he might be, you know. We crossed the line. He lapped a 156.7 last time around, so that's way quicker than us. We might just still hold the advantage into T1 though. Is he going to dive up the inside? No, he's not. That's good. That means we're keeping just far enough ahead of him to stop him making a move. I don't know how long that'll last, and as I say that, there's a car on the grass on the infield. That was Senna in the McLaren, so we've actually gained a position. We're up to 16th. Oh, at the last minute I have to abort turning in for that apex. I saw in my rearview mirror that Yamak was making a lunge up the inside. I left it far too late to defend, so I had to give him the space, and our stint in 16th position lasted mere seconds. Well, this is what happened to Senna in the McLaren, and it's a classic Nürburgring mistake. Outbraking yourself at T1, you run wide, he's let the 2 cars go around him, and as he rejoins, he actually runs into the back of the Lexus there, and that's what sends him onto the grass. And at the very next corner, Yamak makes a dive up the inside to take my position. Now, was I right to leave in the space? Yes, I was in the end. Had I turned in, there would have been contact, and likely we would have both crashed out. We're going to jump forward now and rejoin the live action at the halfway point of the race. We're still 17th, but we had no chance of keeping up with Yamak. He is well clear now. He's 5 seconds down the road, and we've got Zortek closing in fast behind. Zortek was another one of those faster drivers who crashed out in the early going. Well, he's regrouped. He's got that BMW firing again, and he is closing in on us fast. And actually, as we charge down the start and finish straight, we're going to gain another position. We're up to 16th, and that's because that Lexus of Kaká was parked up on the inside there. I've got no idea what's happened to him. So we're up to 16th, but we're under real pressure now from Zortek. He closed right in on us through T1 there. And it's not just Zortek either. It looks like he's dragged Rocher along in the Ferrari as well. So we've got 2 cars right behind us. Zortek's having a look up the inside. That's where we lost a position a few laps ago, but we defended a little bit better this time. We're under real pressure now, not just from Zortek, but from Rocher too. And look in the rearview mirror, they're side by side coming down this straight. Hopefully that'll work in our favour. If they're battling with each other, they're less likely to close in on me. However, we are approaching a back marker, so that could change things too. Well, I'm curious to know what happened to Kaká. We passed him down the start-finish straight, and I don't really understand how he could have lost it there. He's just about to lap Senan. Oh no, and Senan punts him into the wall. Yet more disgraceful behaviour in ACC. Let's ride on board with Senan. I'm absolutely convinced this was deliberate, but this should remove all doubt. There it is. He turns sharply to the right as Kaká's alongside him and crunches him against the pit lane wall. And I tell you what, this type of behaviour absolutely infuriates me. It really does. The exact same thing happened in the open lobby race I did last week. It wound me up then, and this is even worse. Absolutely shocking. We're going to take a closer look at that incident at the end of the race, because there must have been something else bubbling under the surface between those two drivers. It looked like an act of revenge, so we'll take another look at that after the race. But for now, we've got our own race to concentrate on. We're actually chasing Senna now, so we better give him a bit more space if he's that angry. But behind us, we've now got 3 cars battling with each other, so hopefully they're going to slow each other down. We're in 16th, Roche's in 17th, Sortek 18th, and Martin's in the BMW has joined the fun as well. He's in 19th, and they sure did slow each other down, approaching T1. And look how close Martin's got to rear-ending Sortek there. That could have ended in disaster. We're approaching the final turn now to end lap 7. We're still in 16th position, and that pack behind has spread out a bit now. Roche has made a breakaway. He's 0.5 of a second behind, but the other 2 have dropped off. So as we cross the line to start lap 8, we're still in hot pursuit of the lap driver, Senna, the angry lap driver, Senna, who swerves over to the right of the track to punt someone else off. They're both off at T1. We've got to slam on the brakes so we don't get collected, and this is getting stupid now. It is absolutely embarrassing. Well, no prizes for guessing who the victim was. It was Kakar in the Lexus again. He's just coming out of pit lane, having repaired the damage from the last punt, and it's the worst possible time for him because he gets hit by Senna like a missile for the 2nd time. And I really hope Low Fuel Motorsport do something about this. Look, he's still punting him there. This is absolutely disgraceful. And there must be some serious beef between these 2 drivers. I can't imagine what might have caused it. We'll go back and take a proper look at the end of the race so we can get to the bottom of it. But yeah, this is an absolute joke. I left the open lobbies to get away from this type of behaviour. You come to LFM and it's even worse. Well, I really hope we've seen the last of Senna and Kakar. Whatever feud they've got going, it shouldn't be on the racetrack. It's ruining it for the rest of us. We were really lucky there. We had to get on the brakes really hard to avoid getting collected up in that revenge attack, and as a result, it gave Roche the chance to close right in at T1, and he's now right on our tail. Well, the eagle-eyed among you will have noticed the yellow flag come out during that brief return to the live action, and that's because our old mate Lamper in the McLaren decided to pull onto the grass and call it a day. He was in the middle of a blistering battle with Yamak there, but yeah, he is out of the race, and that puts us up to 15th. Starting lap 9 now, and we're still under all kinds of pressure from Roche in the BMW behind. We've actually done a pretty good job of keeping him at bay, but he is certainly making us work for it. We know he's faster than us, so we know we've got our work cut out to hold on to this 15th place. Really struggle through this section. I don't know if it's a Ferrari thing or a lack of talent thing. It's probably the latter, but we managed to pull away and get a bit of a faster exit out of that corner, so we have opened the gap back up to 0.3 of a second. Oh, we turned in a little bit too early there into that right-hander. That got our tyres up over the race curb on the inside. That's going to cost us speed on exit. Is Roche going to attack? We're going to take the defensive line to try and send Roche around the outside. We need to brake harder. We've left it too late. We've run out into the outside lane. I think we've pushed Roche off onto the gravel there. We have done. Oh, that was a bad move. I shouldn't have done that. I broke too late. We're going to have to let him pass. He would have passed if I hadn't made the mistake. That's a decent thing to do. Yeah, sorry about that. I would have much preferred to show you a fair fight for this position, but yeah, it was a bad mistake by me. Let's go back and check out the replay. I wanted to take that defensive line, but I just broke too late. I wasn't able to hug the inside line. I drifted to the outside, that same outside line that I'd already sent Roche out to, and he had no choice but to take to the gravel. This aerial view will give us an even better angle of it. And yeah, sending Roche to the outside line is fair defending. Sending him out onto the gravel is not fair, and that's why I decided to give him the position. I mean, I know he was faster than me, so chances are he would have got around me anyway, but I would have liked to have put up a better fight than that. We'll return to the live action on the penultimate lap. Roche is already 3 seconds clear, and I'm in a fairly comfortable 16th place. Now, I would have happily taken that, but I'm going to get a little bit complacent here. We're just going to get careless and clip that curb. It's going to send the car out onto the grass. We're going to try and rejoin, but not before 2 drivers have gone past. Sortek and Martins both come by, so that drops us down to 18th. Really frustrating. I've spent the whole race keeping this Ferrari off the curbs, and one little slip has proved really costly here. Yeah, complacency, lack of concentration, tiredness, whatever was to blame, it's the same outcome. We're out on the grass and we lose 2 places. Last lap now, and we're 2 seconds behind Martins, but we've got nothing to lose here because the driver in 19th is a long way back. So I'm pushing really hard now just to try and close in on these two guys, just in case there's a small glimmer of hope that I can get one of these positions back. But yeah, we're pushing too hard. We clip the curb again and we spin off even more spectacularly. So for 19 minutes of this race, we kept it pretty clean and tidy, but we just got really sloppy in this last lap or so. This is the replay of the second error, clipping too much of that inside curb. The rear steps out, and actually we were lucky not to take Sennen with us. Right, we need to go back to the replays to find out exactly what caused that rivalry between Sennen and Kaká to boil over. But before we do that, a quick glance at the results. There we are, down in 18th. I knew we weren't going to pull up any trees in this race, so I think I've got to be happy with 18th. Well, I've got to be happy that I just didn't finish last. So here's where the Kaká-Sennen feud started. Lap 2, watch Kaká in the black and red Lexus. He's going to try and make a move up the inside of the McLaren around this hairpin. There is a gap, but it's not quite big enough to get that Lexus through. There's a bit of contact. They both go off. However, they do both rejoin. And then when Sennen runs wide at T1 a few laps later, that's completely his own doing. He rejoins, but it seems like he runs into the back of Kaká and spins out. I don't know if he was mad about that or whether that was his first attempt at revenge, but it got really serious after that mistake because he drove around the next lap pretty slow. He's touring at this point until he gets to this left-hander, and he actually decides to pull over and stop. He is deliberately waiting to rejoin when Kaká is on his way. So he's clearly annoyed with something. I'm guessing it's the first move because it was Kaká who initiated the contact. But like I say, although it was a slightly rough move, they both rejoined having only lost a couple of places. It certainly wasn't a disaster, certainly not warranting an act like that. And I know it's frustrating, I really do. I mean, I've spent the last few iRacing videos whinging about drivers crashing and taking me out, but there really is no excuse for this type of behaviour. I would never normally endorse rage quitting, but if you're that angry, I'd rather you rage quit and got out of the race than stay on track and start behaving like this. It really is not on. So what do you guys think? Should he be reported? Should there be a ban handed out? I'd love to know what you think. I mean, I really hate to single drivers out for criticism, but this type of behaviour really does infuriate me. I gave LFM a go to try and avoid this type of carnage, and there's been even worse in this than it was in the open lobby. And it really makes me question whether I want to do any more LFM at all. I'll see how I feel over the next few days, but thank you very much for watching. Cheers for now.